Hello everyone, so today we're going to be continuing our Math Fantasy series problems, and today we're going to be going over some symmetry problems, and we're also going to be going over some tricks on how to solve some symmetry problems. The difficulty level for these problems will be for the grades for grade 7 and also for grade 8. And let's get started with what the problem is. So symmetry, and here's our question. So the question reads, in the diagram, which of the following squares should be shaded to make BD a line of symmetry for square ABCD? So let's just look at our picture here. So this is how the picture looks like, and basically we need to make line BD a line of symmetry for the square ABCD. So let's look at our possible answers quickly. So we have A, which is P and S. We have B, which is Q and S. We have C, which is P and T, and we have D, which is Q and T. Finally, we have P and R. So we're going to be solving this problem now, and feel free to pause the video if you want to solve this problem by yourself. But if not, then we're going to start solving this problem right now. Let's first understand what symmetry is. So just as a reminder, let's look at this word symmetry, and let's just refresh our minds for what it means. Let's imagine a square. So let's just take a random square here. So symmetry basically means splitting this in half and making this side and this side equal. So symmetry basically just means that you're splitting one thing, and then both of the sides should be equal. So they should be exactly the same, and if they are the same, then you have a line of symmetry. So that's basically what symmetry is. And now we can apply that, and basically symmetry is also the reflection of one side onto the other side. So you can also say that it's the reflection of just one side onto the other side. So now let's get started on solving this problem. So what we need to do here is we need to make the line BD a line of symmetry. And as of right now, this line is not a line of symmetry, because you can see that one side is not equal to the other side. On the triangle ABD, you can see that there's two squares shaded, and on the triangle BCD, you can see that there's nothing shaded. So that means that BD is not a line of symmetry, and the question is asking us to make it a line of symmetry. So the way we're going to do this is by doing a method called columns and rows. So this is the most efficient method for doing this type of problems, because all you have to do is write the columns first and the rows. So basically this one would be column 1. If you run it down, then this would be our first column. Then this one would be our second column. Then this one would be our third column. This one would be our fourth column. And this one would be our fifth column. So in this square, we can see that we have 5 columns. And now for the rows. So this would be our first row. This is our second row. This is our third row. This is our fourth row. And this is our fifth row. So we have 5 columns and 5 rows in this square, and this way it's so much easier to find out the line of symmetry, because now we can just look at the columns and rows, and based on that we can do some math in order to get the reflection from this triangle onto the other triangle. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the squares and see which column they're on and which row they're on. So let's first take this square here. So we're going to first find where the square is on the other side. What we're going to look at first is we're going to look at which column it's on. So we're just going to write C for column, and we can see that it's on column 1. So the C would basically just equal to 1. And then let's look at the row. So if we look at the row, we have 1, 2, 3. So our row should be the number 3. So C is 1 and the row is 3. And basically now what we need to do to get the reflection of this, we just need to make the column and the row opposites. So as long as we do the opposite of these, then we should automatically get where our other square is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make an arrow, and then basically C, we're just going to opposite to make it the row. So instead of C equals to 1, we're going to make it R is equal to 1. So that means the row, so this means that the row will equal to 1, and if you're guessing, then this one will be the same thing. Instead of row, we're going to have the column. So column will equal to 3 and row will equal to 1. So now if we go back to our image And if we go to the row 1, so row 1 would be this row here, and we go to column 3, so column 3, and then we can see that it is this square here. So based on this first one, we saw that the letter is P, so we can assume that the answers are either going to be the C, this answer, or it's going to be A. So it's going to be one of those two, and to find that we're going to need to solve this other square here. So that's what we're going to be doing now. So we're going to do the same thing as what we did to find the letter P, and now let's do it the other way. So we're just going to draw a line here. So let's first look at the column again. So if we look for the column, we can see that the column is on 2 for this square here. The column is 2, and then if we look for the row, we can see that the row is 5. So column is 2 and row is 5. So then we're just going to do the opposite of that. So then the row here would equal to 2, and then the column would equal to 5. So we get row is equal to 2, column is equal to 5. So if you go to the second row, so it would be somewhere in here. And if we go to the column 5, which is this one, we see that this one should be our square, which is the reflection of this one. So now we found our two squares. So our first square is P and our second square is S. So we can see that the answer is A because we got P and S, and that's basically how you do this. This is a really simple problem. Just by looking at this, you can also just find out where the P and S is, but you can just like imagine it. But if you had like more difficult problems, then this would be way harder to do, and if you just do this column and row method, then it would be way more easier to solve these type of symmetry problems. So that's basically how we can solve this problem. And also that's also basically it for this video. So thank you so much for watching this symmetry problem, and thank you for watching from Try to Be Useful, and we're going to see you guys in the next math contest series problem.